All right, guys. So, according to everybody out there, we're getting really close to being done with this lockdown governmentally. We're looking at it kind of being like a bad relationship. We're getting out of it. We're going to be coming back online. We're going to see our economy pick back up. We're going to see people go back to work. But what I want to ask you is, what are you doing different? There's not a lot that politicians say that make me think about it, but there was a certain politician that said, why would you go back? Why would you jump back into it? Why would you go back to 70 hours a week? And, you know, we've had a bit of a recess. We've sat back. We've decided who's essential, who's not, which I think is kind of a really goofy way to look at things, because I believe that we're all essential in the jobs that we do. It's just how we do them and where we do them. But as we get ready to go back out there, like we're reemerging from some sort of a cocoon or something. But the reality is, for all intents and purposes, we're going to re-engage our life. We're going to step back out and decide how we spend our time again. Are we going to spend them at the same place? Are we going to do the same things? Are we going to go right back to happy hours on Thursdays and tennis lessons and bike rides? What are we really going to do with our time? Are we going to go back to the office? Are we going to grind it out there until it's 7:30 at night on a Thursday and then forget our plans for the weekend because we're doing something different? What are you really going to do? And I think, if anything, that this has helped us kind of look at is what is really essential in your life. What is something that has to happen in your life? Do you have to do some of the things that you were doing? Do you have to give up the time to certain activities and certain people that you used to think you had to? What is it you're going to do with your time that's going to be different post-corona versus pre-corona? I think it's funny because we have these times and dates in human history that we mark with BC and AD, and now maybe we've got a BC is before Corona, and we've got an AC, which is no longer alternating current. It's after Corona. But what are you going to do? If anything, this time has taught me that a lot of the things that I gave my time to weren't the value proposition that I thought they were. They weren't replenishing me the way that I thought they were. They weren't giving me the results that I thought they were. And it's not about what am I getting out of it, but what am I giving to it? So I look at it, guys, and I'm as busy as anybody, but I have choices I can make with my time and who I give it to and where I give it. And when I look at what I've been able to do in the last, I don't know, I think it's been about 6 weeks, but I've been able to spend more time with me. I've been able to get the things done that everybody thought I needed to get done. I've been able to get the things done that I thought I needed to get done. There's been some things that haven't been able to happen or have slowed down because of really circumstances, or somebody's not open, or the planning and zoning department isn't responding, or whatever that is. But it doesn't mean that my life has stopped, but it doesn't mean that I have given my time in all the same places that I used to. This isn't a question about, are your friends good for you? This is not that. This is, what are you going to re-engage? Because in a lot of ways, if you look at the last 6 weeks, we've disengaged socially, and we've got a clean slate as far as where we can re-engage socially, where we can re-engage in the work field, where we can re-engage with those toxic relationships, that those co-workers that drag us down. There's all these elements and all these things that we can look at that we maybe didn't consider 6-8 weeks ago, that we now look at and go, we have this opportunity, we have this proposition in front of us that puts us in a condition, in a space that maybe for the first time in our adult life, we can sit there and go, I don't want to, because I don't see the value, because for the last 6 weeks, I've been just fine without it. There's times in our lives where we get the opportunity to really reset and to really look at what has brought us the value. What have we been doing with our time that has had not necessarily a dollar amount fixed to it, not necessarily a perception of a dollar amount fixed to it, but there is now the perception of this is where I spent my time and this is the true value that it brought me. This is who I spent my time with and this is the true value that I got from that. And so, guys, I want you to be thinking about that, regardless of what your governor is saying at this time, regardless of what the media is saying at this time. I want you to be saying, as I reemerge, as I step back out into society, as I decide what I'm going to do with my life moving forward post-corona, I am going to make sure that I reinvest in things that are good for me, that I reinvest and reengage in people that are good for me, that I put myself in conditioned spaces where I am engaging in useful and helpful and constructive conversations. So, guys, I want to leave you with this as you are looking at the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and how economies are going to be reengaging and how people are going to be returning to the workforce. I want you guys to ask a very collective question of yourself and really sit down and I prefer to write things down and evaluate whether or not your re-engagement with certain people in certain events and certain groups and certain activities are going to be in your best interest. Because, guys, we've had the opportunity to take the time to reset, to look at, to evaluate. Let's do something with it. Let's not throw that time away. Most of us, I don't know of another generation that's got 6 weeks to reevaluate some things like we have. So let's take advantage of that time. Let's be responsible and prudent with that, and let's learn some lessons from that. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you soon, and be safe.